Emily Company has sales on account and for cash. So they have two different kinds of sales. They're on account and some for cash. Specifically, 60% of its sales are on account and 40% are for cash. Credit sales are collected in the month following the sale. That's important to understand that. The company forecasts sales of $525 for April, $535 for May, and $560 for June. The beginning balance of accounts receivable is $300,000 on April the 1st, and we're supposed to put together a cash receipts budget for 3 months, April, May, and June. So let's start with April. Sales for April are supposed to be $525,000, and that was given to us. And these are total sales now, and since we're looking for cash receipts, we're not going to collect all those sales in April. We're going to have to subtract off the ending accounts receivable balance, and let's see here, minus that, which would be $315,000. And how do we come up with that $315,000? Well, 60% of our $525,000, it says here, are sales on credit, and we're not going to collect those credit sales until in the month following the sale. So of these total sales, we're not going to collect this portion of them until May. So that's where we're subtracting out that $315,000. Next, cash receipts from cash sales. We'll collect all of the cash sales for April. So if our total sales we thought were going to be for April 525, $315,000 of them is going to be on credit, so we won't collect those in the month of April, but we will collect the cash sales in April, so that'll be $210,000, and that's 40% of that $525,000. Next, we've got collections from prior months' receivables. Well, our accounts receivable on the very beginning of April was $300,000, and it's assumed we're going to collect all of those sometime in the month of April, so that's where the $300,000 comes in. And our cash total for April will be $510,000. Again, that's total April sales, cash and credit. The credit sales for April will not be collected until May, and so therefore we have to subtract those out. And the cash sales for April will be collected in April, so that's $210,000 there. And we will collect the prior month's sales, which actually these were in March. These were sales in March, and we had a balance as of April the 1st of $300,000. That's what we'll collect there. So our total cash receipts coming in for April will be $510,000. Let's go on to May. In May, the total sales that we're supposed to have, cash and credit, are going to be $535,000. We will subtract off the ending accounts receivable in May here, which would be $321,000. That is 60% of these $535,000 sales are on credit, and we're not going to collect these until June. So we'll subtract that portion out, that is the credit portion, out of those. And then the cash sales of $214,000 we will collect in May, and that's 40% of our $535,000. So our sales in May total $535,000. 60% of them are credit sales, which we won't collect until June, and 40% of them are cash sales, which we will collect in May. Then we have collection of prior month's receivables, which will be $315,000. These sales that we had in April that were in credit sales, we're collecting them in May. So that's where that comes from. And then combine all this up to get total cash receipts in May of $529,000. Next, we've got, actually going to add these two pieces together to get to 529. So for June, we're supposed to have sales of $560,000, and We'll subtract the credit sales out of that portion, which is 336, or 60% of that 560 won't be collected until July. And then we've got cash sales of 224, and that's 40% of that 560. So June sales are made up of credit sales of 60% of that, which would be 336, which we won't collect until July, and 40% of that 560 are cash sales, which we will collect in the month of June. Then the prior month's receivables that we will collect in June were these sales up here that we had in May. So that's 321 that we're going to collect in June now. Add these two together and we'll end up with total cash receipts in June of 545.